What's up, comic book fans? It's the man whose ring runs on fanboy energy. It is the Emerald Enthusiast, back with another action figure review. This time I'm taking a look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse figure of the WallyWest version of The Flash. I have not had the greatest amount of luck when it comes to finding McFarlane figures in the wild, but on a recent road trip, I found this guy hiding in a pile of figures that someone had just haphazardly put on a shelf. So that being said, let's take a closer look at the package details now. On the side, it says The Flash, WallyWest, and we get this partial window where we can see the lightning effects, and on the top, we get another partial window. On the bottom, we get product information, and on the side, this designates this figure as part of the DC company-wide Rebirth event. On the back, we get this exquisite artwork of WallyWest, and of course it says DC Multiverse with the social media hashtag McFarlane Toys. So here is the figure as seen through the front window. The entire figure is visible, and I certainly appreciate that. You can see the peg base, the lightning effects, and the trading card somewhat. It is obscured a little bit by the figure and the accessories. But having seen the McFarlane line now, in terms of mint on card collecting, I like the figures that don't come with collect and connect pieces more so than the ones that do. And it's not that I don't like collect and connect figures, I certainly do. But if you compare them, so much of the packaging here is dedicated to the collect and connect pieces. And with this one, this is just packaging showcasing the figure better. So I prefer this packaging over this type of packaging. With that being said, though, now I think it's time to bust this figure out of the package and see what's inside. Here is the figure free of the outer packaging, but still in the inner plastic. Here is the trading card. Again, we see that artwork that we saw on the back of the packaging on this. And on the back, we get a brief bio of WallyWest. If you would like to read this, go ahead and pause the video and do so now. And here we see the Flash out of the package and ready to run. I was a big fan of Wally's appearance in DC Rebirth, especially that really emotional moment with Barry Allen. And I also like this costume. I know not all Flash fans do, but I think it's a good one. And I think that most Flash collectors will be very happy with this figure should they choose to buy it. So with all that being said, let's take a closer look at the loose details now. So let's take a look at the lower body, and the first thing I noticed is that the figure is sturdy, and I certainly appreciate that. Lots of good texturing here. You can see that on the quadriceps as well as the hip area here. Like the way the boots have been done. I like the sculpting and the paint applications here. I like that the top of the boots are sculpted. You see the definition back here in the hamstrings and the quadriceps, and that is important for a running-based figure. And the articulation is really good. So it seems like we get the standard McFarlane articulation here, and that's 22 points of articulation, but we get the midfoot hinge, the pivoting here with the ankle. We get the double jointed knees. But what I noticed when I started to pose this figure is that the quadriceps here with the hip area go back further. You can see that that's a pretty stark angle there. So if you want to get him into a very long stride, you can. And I feel like this is certainly greater than some other McFarlane figures. And to further illustrate this point, you can get him to kick forward this far, and that is certainly a greater degree than I've seen with a lot of other McFarlane figures that I have handled and reviewed. You can get him to kick out to the side that far. That's a good amount. And with this leg as well, you can get it to rock back. And so if you want to get him into a really deep running pose, you can certainly do that. And so I feel like this hip area has a little bit of an upgrade over some of the other McFarlane figures. So let's have a look at the arms now. And I like the way the tops of the gloves are sculpted. Those are accurate to the comic. Good paint applications. Good movement here at the wrist. You can see how the fist has been sculpted there. Again, good texturing on the costume. You get double jointed elbows, so if you want to get his arm to go back that far, you can. Again, we get butterfly joints here, so you can get his arm to go up this far, and you can get it to rock back. Here's a look at the other hand. And my only question is why an alternate set of hands weren't included with this figure, because with a running figure, you would think that like a spear hand type of pose would be natural to include with an alternate set of hands. So I wonder why that wasn't done, but otherwise that's really the only complaint that I have with the arms. So here is a look at the head sculpt, and I think it's been done very well, but I know some people will once again take issue with the side eye. That's been a great subject of debate among McFarlane collectors, but that doesn't bother me too much. I think overall the head has been sculpted well. Good detail on the lips and the nose. The skin doesn't look plastic. Good paint application on the mask. These parts are pliable, so they don't feel like they're going to easily break off. I was a little worried about that in taking the figure out of the package. I like the way the hair has been sculpted. Like, he's been running, and so it's just kind of all over the place. You get this, sprawl on top of his head. In terms of articulation, you can get him to look side to side easily. You get him to look up a little bit. I feel like that could be a little bit better. You can get him to look down, and he does have head tilting. So, again, outside of the side eye, I think that will be something that comes up for some collectors, but I think overall this head sculpt has been done very well. So here's a look at the torso, and I think it has been produced very well. I like the size of the body mold. This is not an overly jacked character. He's a speedster, so you want him to look more like a distance runner. But I think McFarlane did a really good job with this. Good musculature, good size. There's good texturing here. And the symbol has been done very well. Very good paint applications, sculpted very well. Well, perhaps there's just a little bit of sloppiness on mine, but I still think that this torso looks really good. You get torso articulation here, the lower part. Mine's a little tight, but you can get him to rock around like this. So I certainly appreciate that. If you want to have him jumping or something like that, you can get him to crunch forward that far, and you can get him to rock back that far. So again, overall, I think there's a lot more positives with this torso than negatives. So here's the moment you have waited for. It's time to take these lightning accessories and put them on the figure. As a collector, I usually watch a lot of videos before I do my own reviews, but I hadn't done that in this case because I just came upon this figure by chance. And in doing this review, I got a couple of welcomed surprises. Number one, this accessory is actually part stand. It helps the figure balance, so I certainly appreciate that. And this piece, this is actually just one piece that ports into the back. They're on hinges, both of these lightning effects back here. And so you can get them at the angle that you want them, whether they're together or separate. You can get them however you would like them. So in both cases, I believe these are strokes of genius. I certainly hope you have enjoyed this review. If so, please like, subscribe, and tell a friend to do the same. Stay tuned for some articulation shots, and also remember to catch me on the Multiverse Musings vidcast, available right here on YouTube. And I'll be back to the internet with more comic book related content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.